Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to CrowCast, episode 54. Ronnie Oxford, how are you, bud?
I'm very well, mate. Lovely weekend, great weather, complete contrast to today. I'm going to clue what's happening in Wales today. Jesus Christ, it's sunny, it's snowing, it's hailstones, it's windy.
Like 4 seasons in one day, like 2 points. 2 points.
But yeah,
Crowded out.
great couple of days, mate. Not saying the back end of the week wasn't great, but lovely. You know, the sun's out, did the old barbecue, went for some walks. And yet again, you know, discovering parts of where we live and appreciating what we're blessed with, what's around us on our doorstep, like, you know. How about you, bud?
Yes, pretty much the same. I went a little traveling into mid Wales. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Like, yeah, we are blessed, bud. Very lucky to be in Wales. It's gorgeous country, coasts, lakes, rivers, woods, incredible. So yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
Well, yeah, I had the shorts on, and then about 6 o'clock, then it would be running the house because the temperature would just bomb, like, you know, oh my God, that was a mistake to put them on. It's been great. Really, really nice, relaxing Easter. That's the best way to do it. You know, it's bit of TV as well. I think I put it on the socials. I don't know if I've had a chance to even tell you about it. Kings of Pain, mate.
Oh, yes, I've heard about this.
Don't know if you've seen anything. I mean, we've done this on CrowCast before. What are we watching and everything? Randomly, I listened to Chris Jericho's podcast, and he had 2 guys on there, and I just had to knock it off halfway through because it just sounded so intriguing. So I bombed downstairs, put it on, and it was just like, you know, when I said about like the Tiger King before, it was like that almost. You didn't want to watch it, but you wanted to watch it. These 2 guys go around putting insects, animals, marine life on the index, so they bite and sting each other, and basically rate it in the name of science. It is brilliant. It's really cool, really well put together. Their personalities come out after about 2 or 3 episodes. But it's really intriguing, dude, because, like, I don't know, for example, there it is, man. Look at that, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's wild. And that guy in the blue t-shirt, that's Caveman. Brilliant personality. The both of them, like, they're really, really cool. They work off each other brilliant. And then it's almost like one is kind of tripping out and sweating and going through the motions. They got a medic on site who's trained in everything, you know, the reactions to it. And then you can see him kind of flaking, and he's going, just sting him. I want him to go through this right now. I want him to go through it. And then obviously they sting the other guy, and they're both going through the motions and the roller coaster of whether it be the bite or the sting. Sounds graphic, but it's really, really cool. Very interesting as well, because, like, I love animals and nature, and, like, you know, look at that. That's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And some of the wounds, so what they do is they rate it on, like, the intensity of the bite and the duration of how long it lasts, and also, like, the damage that the insect and they rate them. They just put them on this index, because I can't remember the guy's name that they're running off, but he basically did it on a scale to 4. So he did, like, the warrior wasp, or you know, he did certain insects and certain creatures before them. So they've put some of them on the index, and they've done it up to 10. And to be honest, if anything scored 30, you're dead. So they're always cautious of what they do, like, you know. So I don't want to spoil it in case a lot of the people tuning in tonight want to check it out. It is kind of like, it got that Jackass edge to it, Ginge, but it's a little bit more, you know, they are a little bit more with it, and it's a bit more like towards the science and like I said, that's their occupation as well. They deal with animals, so they know what they're messing with, and they just try to talk you through, like, obviously if they're in the ocean and you come across something like a stonefish, or you know, what could happen just by accident, just by brushing along it, or so they kind of give you that insight to it as well. Brilliant, dude. Honestly, really, really cool.
Yeah, I've seen something similar somebody else was doing it though, and he basically gets stung by the 10 most deadliest insects or something. So yeah, I have seen him. But looking at that image there, can we get that first image up again? Can we get that up? I put him on the spot now. There it is. That could be me and you there, Rod.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm telling you now, there's no way I'm having a scorpion on my arm that big. There's no way. I'm out.
Well, to be honest, the scorpion didn't bother me. And a lot of the other, the animals that came up, it's just, the one thing that's going to bother me, and out he came, like, and I was just like, does it have to be? It's got 8 legs, has to be a spider, doesn't it? I think that's the only thing I would freak out with, for example, is a spider, like, but otherwise,
legs.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, they go into parts of the world which is incredible. It's on the History Channel. It's on other channels as well. I couldn't find it on History, so I used other channels, other streaming networks, because they're not paying a sponsorship. So yeah, basically check it out. It's really, really cool. Gives you about a bit of info about the animals, etc. as well. So basically tells you on their bite of how powerful that bite would be, and they kind of go into it really deep. A really, really cool watch. If you're doing a bit of work and you want something on in the background, it is one of those where you end up, what's going on there? You know what I mean? You can't help it, like, two guys getting bitten by something. You're a bit like, that is wrong, but yet it's entertainment. That's where we are now. 2021, we're watching people get stung and bitten. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, can they do worse? Can they up it? Next series, for anybody who haven't seen it, it's like, can they actually up what they've already done? Like, so yeah, man.
There we are, then, Crow family. Go check that out if you're into all that. But thank you all for joining us. CrowCast episode 54. We got the wonderful. We're really excited about this. Richie Edwards will be joining us so soon. Former Darkness and singer and frontman of an amazing band. Myself and Ronnie, all the Crows, love this band, Stone Gods. So we're going to talk about all that and how his life has led up to that moment of fronting that band. Can't wait for that, Ron.
We've been trying to get Rich on for a while. He's really humble. Someone we've known for a while. We go into that as well. Like we said, we know him through mutual friends. But yeah, more importantly, why we wanted Richie on as well is because it's an album we've always talked about on CrowCast. And an album we always talk to friends out in the rock scene and stuff. Oh, have you checked this band out? Because we've had that, haven't we? We've named a couple of bands where people go, oh, I haven't heard that. So we really wanted to make emphasis on that record, because I don't know, it's just something that we all loved, didn't it? It's just like, we resonated towards it and we were buzzing over it even before we met Richie. It was just like, wow, this is a really cool, very cool record, like, so we'll definitely go into that a lot more. And absolutely. Also, it was great to see on the socials today, dude. We've had loads of people message us about the new compilation record with the new wave of classic rock. Well done to the guys. Massive shout out to all of them. We're completely behind you. Go support them. Some incredible bands on there, Shane. You got Wagons, you got Phil Campbell, Mason Hill, the Dust Coda, New Roses. There's just so many. Look at that list, man.
Man, just obviously telling everybody that the rock scene is alive and well. Some of those names there, and a lot of people may get in touch and saying, why isn't your name on there? Well, let us tell you. Basically, we are with a label, and they couldn't come to an agreement to use our material. Everything the Crows have recorded is under Uric. So that's our record label. So that's the reason why we're not. And you could argue, why is there other Uric bands on the album? And that's because that's material that before they got signed to Uric. So they use a material on this album, New Wave of Classic Rock album, before they signed with Uric. Unfortunately, there was no music the Crows did before we got signed. So that's why we're not on there. So just to put that to bed, because we're getting lots of texts and emails and stuff.
Loads. But yeah, massive shout out. It's a great scene, guys. It's a community that we always get behind anyway. There's some phenomenal bands there that we've shared stages with. So yeah, go and support them. New Wave of Classic Rock. You can go over to their site. We'll probably have a few bands on as well leading up to that, mate. So we have anyway in previous episodes. It'd be cool to get a few of the guys on, talk about the tracks that they probably chose. And yeah, just like I said, support the scene. Rock is definitely alive, so
Absolutely.
Yeah, the last thing as well before we have a guest in the wing, the Crow family did ask. I know it's a mad thing. They did ask for more merch. They did ask. Well, no, it's the constant thing. You know, I know there's a few people make a joke, but we don't charge for this. We don't want tips or anything. So a lot of people said, well, have you got any more merch? Is there any more tops? We've had a lot of messages, haven't we? A lot of emails asking for new T-shirts or whatever. And the good news is they've dropped, Shane.
Yes, they are ready to go right now. If you head on over to thosedamncrows.com. So what we got? We've got new hoodies and we've got new universal T-shirts, men and women. But more importantly, because the ladies in our family have been asking for a long time, we have finally got women's tees right there in the middle. It's the Those Damn Crows Point of No Return tee that is now available online in our web store, and we now finally have a woman's fitted tee as well as a brand new, look at this logo, this Those Damn Crows Reaper logo. It's like a biker Sons of Anarchy vibe. So we got a hoodie, and these are lightweight hoodies. They're not the heavy hoodies. These are lightweight, so perfect for like spring, summer, and the t-shirt there to match as well.
Yeah, massive shout out, man, to, like I said, to the Crow family, Shane. I know that they constantly say to us about putting tip jars up and stuff like that, but we strongly believe I'd rather them kind of buy something. You know what I mean? It's always great to see the band name on the fans or on anybody who supports what we do. So yeah, this is our April merch drop. And it's cracking, fair play. And you definitely need a hoodie in this weather at the moment. Bloody hell, Jesus.
I know, innit? But they are lighter. They're really nice. They're so soft. So something different to the normal hoodie.
Smashing, and available right now at thosedamncrows.com and go to our merch store. Happy days. There it is. All things Crows. Visit thosedamncrows.com.
Awesome.
Shall we have a guest?
Ah, man, I can't wait for this. Ladies and gentlemen, Crow family, please welcome the wonderful human being and rock god, Mr. Richie Edwards.
How's it going?
All right, bud?
How's it going? All right, Tua. All right, bud. You all right? Good to see
Yes,
you.
man.
Do I look all right? It's been a while since I've done anything like this. Do I look all right? Presentable.
You look great, mate.
Excellent.
You've obviously put a bit of makeup on, have you?
I've just a little bit of we had to have a bit of concealer on there. For some reason I flushed and and it looked ridiculous. So the missus sorted me out with a bit of concealer. But no, I'm so honoured that you've asked me to come on. I feel like a bit of a fraud, if I'm honest with you. You've had some big names on here over the last year, and I can't help thinking there'll be an air of disappointment around your regular listeners this week when what you have? It was Blaze Bailey the other week. Last week you had Biff Byford from Saxon. I mean, a metal god, and then this week it's me. I can imagine a lot of people going, Who's this lad? Who's this bald fella? But no, I'm really, really honoured that you've asked me on. It's amazing. Thank you.
Man, we couldn't wait to get you on. Not just because you're a great guy and an incredible musician, but you know, it's not just these bands you've been in. You've teched for the bands. You know the industry inside out, and that's what gets me, myself, Ronnie, and the Crows sort of is people's perspectives within the industry and having a little bit of insight. That some of the Crow family, some of the fans in general don't really know about, you know. So you'd have some stories, bud. Well, hopefully, no pressure.
I don't know about stories. Yeah, but I've been really lucky ever since I was a kid, or music's been my only hobby. I was never into sport. I was never into any. It was just music always, and that's all I ever wanted to do was something. Well, all I ever wanted to do was be a rock star when I was little, you know. But and I never really wanted to do anything else. It was always something to do with music, and by some miracle, by more by luck than judgment, I've managed to forge a career for myself in music, and there's not a day goes by really when I don't think how lucky I am, and whether that be, you know, being in bands or working for bands, it's never really bothered me. It's just been around being around music and making music and working in music. It's all I ever wanted to do, and luckily I've been able to do it. So I feel very, very lucky, really.
So, like, going back in, Richie, like when you were Little Richard, I want to get that line in, Little Richard. When
Very good.
What was the bug, bud? What band, what artist did you see? What music were you listening to that made you think, oh my God, that is it?
Well, I had a brother who was, depending on the time of year, he was 5 or 6 years older than me, and luckily for me, he was just the same. It was all about music. No sport, no cars, it was just music. And luckily for me, he had impeccable taste. And I think over the years, you know, when you sort of go in and look through his records, and it was him really, I suppose, who sort of I guess shaped what I was into. Although the first album I ever bought, he wasn't into that band at all. But first record I ever bought was Kings of the Wild Frontier by Adam and the Ants, and I bought it. It had just come out, and I think, if memory serves, it came out late 1980, like Christmas time 1980. So I would have probably bought it with my Christmas money at the beginning of 1981. So I would have been just coming up for 6, and that record that had a huge impact on me, and that was it. I wanted to be Adamant. And I used to go to one of my older cousins, Leanne. She used to make up and put an ant stripe on me, and I'd just wear some old pajamas and just whatever I could find in the house, just to pretend that I was Adamant and walk around the local streets dressed like that. Which, but yeah, so that had a huge impact on me, and still does. Like, if you listen to that record now, it still sounds amazing. But that was a big one. And then I sort of went through. I got really into two-tone and ska, and then just rock and heavy metal. And I mean, it's probably easier to say the sort of music that I'm not into, rather, because I just love everything, you know. But I'm sure you guys are the same, you know. There's it's impossible to hang on. Oh, my mic's dropped. There we go. Yeah, I just love music, really, you know. That's me. But Adam and the Ants had a big impact on me.
Was that like, did you have a voice like as a kid, or was it just about picking up an instrument?
I just wanted to show off, really. How, whatever way, shape or form, it was just I just wanted to show off, whether that be getting involved with school productions and, you know, acting and or being in a band or just I just sort of wanted to, just like the idea of that, really. We used to do when I was at primary school, every, like, once a month on a Friday, they did this thing called Top of the Flops, where like, as the kids could you could get up and do actually, was it primary school? Yeah, it would have been primary school. You could get up and do a little skit or whatever during assembly on the last Friday of the month. And after, it was the Friday after Live Aid, watching that was a moment as well, just waiting all day for Queen to come on, and then just being completely blown away. I was just like, oh my God, it's nothing I've ever seen, and still is, to be fair. But the Friday after Live Aid, I wore a pair of white jeans, a white vest, like a stick with a microphone taped to it, and mimed to Radio Gaga and Bohemian Rhapsody. And so it was just anything, really, you know, just to sort of just to kind of show off. But yeah, that's I don't know, that's all I ever really wanted to do was be in a band play shows. You know, that was it really. And
So
it was.
how old-
I would have been when I really started getting into music. Yeah, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
So, the Live Aid performance, well, that was 85, wasn't it? So I would have been, it would have been my last year at primary school. I would have been 10 going on 11. But I was also really lucky because having an older brother who was so into music, he would go to gigs, and mum and dad would sort of force him to take me along, which obviously he hated. I mean, if you imagine you're a 16-year-old kid and your 10-year-old little brother is sort of hanging around with you, it's not. But I remember going to a few gigs where I say with him. We would arrive together, and then mum and dad would sort of drive off, and he'd go, right, I'll meet you here afterwards, and he'd be gone, and I'd just be like, all right, okay, fair enough. And there's some big, I mean, one that really sticks in mind was Iron Maiden on the Somewhere in Time tour, Birmingham Odeon. That was a big one, because years later I ended up working with Maiden, and that gig was a real, that would have been 86, so I would have been 12. And that was a real sort of, that's a game changer. Seeing that show, it was insane. You know, you got the inflatable Eddie hands at the end with Aris there. It's just amazing. Nico's kit just rising up into the air with Eddie's face underneath. It was amazing. And then, like I say, years later, it's one of those sort of pinch your souls moment. You know, there I was a 10-year-old kid writing Iron Maiden on my school books, and then fast forward 20 years later, and I'm stenciling Iron Maiden on a flight case to be shipped over to America to start the tour. I mean, it's if I actually sit and think about it, it's pretty mad, really. You know, some of the things that some of the things that happened. But yeah, so gigs. Yeah, I was lucky in that respect as well. Being able to go to gigs because of my older brother, and also growing up in Lichfield, which is about 20 minutes from Birmingham.
Yeah.
Every band, whatever size the band was, they would all go through Birmingham, whether they played the Hummingbird or the Odeon or the NEC, you know, the big gig just outside of town. Every band would go through Brum, so you were spoiled for choice. And I didn't realise that at the time as well, like how lucky I was that I lived there and saw those bands until I got friendly with Dan from The Darkness, and we talk about this. And growing up in Lowestoft, they didn't have any gigs. It was like the only thing they had was Norwich was kind of nearby, and some bands would go through the UEA in Norwich. But other than that, it was like, because, we'd be talking about gigs and I go, oh yeah, I saw, Metallica and I saw this, that and the other. And he was like, well, we didn't really get to see anyone. And not that I ever took it for granted, but it's weird when you think, my geography was really fortunate, that we could go and see all these bands. It was brilliant. But I still get excited about live music, even though I've been surrounded by it every day for the last God knows how long. Well, not for the last year, but I still get excited by it, and I still get excited buying records, and the music still excites me, and it's the only thing that really that excites me.
Yeah. What was your first moment, Rich, when you were like, obviously you were around all of that, and that's incredible. What was the first moment getting in a room with all your mates, and like we always joke about it, playing out the time, playing out the tune, but you're just making music, which is that's the key to it,
That's what it's all about. Yeah, it was mates from school, and one of I would have been, probably been about second year comprehensive school, so that's like probably 13, something like that, 13, 14, and I got sort of approached by some couple of lads from the year above, who were like, "Oh, you play guitar, don't you?" Yeah, play guitar. Oh, do you want to, do you want to form a band? And it was literally that, and another friend of theirs had just got a job at a local rehearsal studio in Lichfield, Reptile House, which is a proper sort of old school rehearsal room, you know, carpet, nicotine stained carpets on the wall and stunk, and it was brilliant. But he worked there, so he could, if we went in after like 10 o'clock or whatever, he'd get a cheap deal. So we used to do, so we just got together and had a knock. And then we used to do every Friday, 5 till 7 rehearsals. And, you know, we straight away started writing songs. We do the odd cover. We did, what did we do now? We did Talk Dirty to Me by Poison and 18 in Life by Skid Row, if I remember rightly. But it was just the greatest thing ever. Like, you meet your mates, you walk up with your guitar and that, and talk about how you're going to, you know, set the world on fire, and then go and play a really obnoxious music in a little room for 2 hours, and it's just the greatest thing ever. You know, I mean, you've done it. It's brilliant, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for you at that point, were you like, were you innocent to it? Like, for me personally, I remember when we started out, there was an element of innocence, but then some of the mates we had, which you know now, like your Mooses and stuff, they seem to have that little bit more knowledge of, like, you know, your Panteras, and they were mentioning other bands, but they almost knew, like, we got to do this, we got to get in the studio. I just remember, like, when I first jammed with Shane, we were just jamming when we did. We didn't really, we didn't know the key. We had a little dictaphone when we started. It was almost put that in the corner of the room. And then the most technical we got was, we worked out if you put a piece of paper in front of it, it kind of was a better quality. You could listen back.
Yeah, it wouldn't distort it, man. Over there now, but I'll stop the distortion. I will.
But yeah, was that an innocent period for you, just all about the rock and roll? And
I think we were. I think all of us were quite innocent. And I mean, the other thing is, this would have been, like I say, 1987, 88. So you couldn't make demos at home. I mean, it's like these days, if you can form a band on the Monday and record an album on the Tuesday at home, you know, you've got the technology right there to hand at home. There was none of that when I was first playing in a band. And so in order to record, we had to go into an actual studio. And the Reptiles where we used to record, they had a 16-track recording studio there. So, but we had to pay our parents to lend us, give us the money to record. And then, you know, we went in like Saturday and Sunday, recorded like about 50 songs, you know, as you do the first time you go in the studio. And then we had to, you know, send the reel to reel off and got the cassettes back. And so it was like a really, it was a big thing, man, you know, when it wasn't the sort of thing where, you know, these days pretty much every band has a recording of some description, whereas back then it wasn't really. You know, we had a demo. We made a demo. You know, this is amazing, and it's so I think there was an element of innocence with us, definitely, because, you know, we knew that you went into a studio and recorded stuff, but until we went in and saw what was going on, we didn't really have any idea, you know. But it was just, I don't know. I mean, I suppose it's very difficult to explain to people who weren't sort of, didn't do that, who weren't in bands and experiencing that, just how magical that was. I mean, some of the greatest times of my life still, you know, were those early sort of rehearsals, and then you got a gig, and it was mental. I mean, the first gig we did was in the school hall. Excuse me. One lunchtime. And again, this would have been like probably 87, 88. And I don't know how, but we persuaded the school it was a good idea to let us play in the assembly hall one lunchtime. So we saw it as like, like we were. This was a big show, you know. We were going to put on a show, and as it happened, Rab, the drummer, who I'm still in touch with. Actually, he's a great guy, and he was a brilliant drummer. And he was, sorry to digress, but you were saying about Moose and the boys who knew about like all the bands and stuff. He knew about all these bands, and the amount of bands that I discovered from him doing me mixtapes was brilliant. But anyway, he had what's the lesson where you cook? Home economics. That morning, and so they made, and if memory serves, I might have made, my memory's terrible, right? So I apologize if some of it's a bit sketchy, but I think it made chili con carne. And so we all went down there before the gig, like catering. And so we knew that like at these gigs, bands went for catering and stuff. And then we went and played school, and a couple of things stick in my mind from that. At the time, now this band went through millions of names, as I'm sure your early bands did. Every week you got a different name. And the only reason I remember what the band was called at that particular time was we hung like a bed sheet at the back of the stage. And during the song Aftermath, the band was called Aftermath. I'm sure there's a million and one school bands called Aftermath. But during that song, we had a song called The Name of the Band, which I always thought was quite cool. One of our mates would come up and spray the band's name on the bed sheet at the back in sort of like a graffiti style, you know, and which he did. But now again, I might be making this up, but I'm convinced that he spelt it wrong. So it was, I mean, that was ridiculous. But the other thing that sticks in my mind was I had 2 Marshall mini stacks as my backline. I was playing a white Kramer guitar, a big pointy headstock and proper metal, big Floyd Rose thing on it. And I had 2 Marshall mini stacks. And the hall was quite big. So I've got them cranked. Everything's on 10 all the way up. And the 2 of them together, the minute you switch them on, it's just... I mean, unless you're playing, you can't... I've got a mate of mine to sit by my 2 little Marshall mini stacks. I said, right, when I give you the nod, switch it on. Switch them on. When I give you another nod, switch them off. I thought, and then, you know, when we're not playing, he knocks them off. He's like, you got it? Yeah, I got it. Yeah, no worries. So he starts the gig. I starts headbanging, and he's going off, on, off. I don't know what's going on. And then, for some reason, at the end of the gig, and I've no idea why, we threw a load of 7-inch singles out. They weren't ours. It was like, I don't know, Bon Jovi and bloody Lita Ford, and just slinging records out. Why was that? I don't know why we did that, but it was amazing. That was the first gig really. The band ended up being called Gloy, and we were actually really good, but I don't know, one of those things where we probably could have done okay, but we just couldn't. Not that we couldn't be bothered, but we just couldn't be bothered. It was like, you know, we just it was that thing of sort of going to the next level. We were like, oh, you know, yeah. So, but we had a fair bit of interest, but nothing ever came of it. But some of the best laughs I've ever had were with those lads in that band. It's brilliant.
Were you singing at that point, Richie, or was that just guitar?
Well, no. So when we did the infamous school hall concert, I wasn't singing. We had a singer. See, honestly, I'm not a singer. I really don't. I don't consider myself a singer. Shane, you are a singer. You know, you're absolutely a singer. I sing because no one else would do it really, and that sort of carried on throughout my life. And in those early bands when we first started, we had a singer. And then it sort of didn't work out. It wasn't very good. So we thought, well, we'll get a different singer. And in between singers, I sang because, you know, the bass player couldn't sing. The drummer wasn't going to sing. So it was down to me. And so I sang, and then we got another singer. And yeah, it's like, it's not really, you know, it's better with you singing, or this isn't really working. So, yeah. All right. So he goes, and I take up the reins again, and then it happened again, and then like even years and years later, when the Darkness split up, and Dan phoned me and he was like, do you want to write some songs? I said, you'll sing, won't you? And it was just like, I'll sing because there's no one else to do it, you know. And that's still, you know, that was just the case all the way along. So I never really saw myself as a singer. I still don't see myself as a singer. And I just sort of do it because no one else wanted to.
Well,
do you know
that
what
must
I mean?
be like, so yeah, but you must. I disagree, by the way. You can.
Yeah, me too.
You got an incredible voice, dude, and your range is phenomenal.
Please don't think I was saying that for any sort, you know,
Oh,
just
no,
I'm
no,
honest or I'd lay the price. I genuinely feel like that. However, I enjoy singing. I do enjoy it, but I just don't. I struggle listening to myself, listening back to myself, and I don't know. I just don't consider myself to be a singer. I mean, I've worked with some proper singers, you know, and it's just, I don't know. I never consider myself to be in that gang, really. Do you know what I mean?
So we've always talked about your voice, of how dynamic it is, because you can put the grit on it. Well, we were on about it the other day when we were Dave and stuff, how like you can go metal, how you can sound really metal, and then all of a sudden you're balls out rock and roll. Like, that's really clever to do that and swing it with your voice. And then, like Shane said, your range is up there out of nowhere, and you're like, fucking hell.
Well, you know what? That wasn't my when we were writing the Stone Ghost stuff for both records. Dan we'd write whatever, you know, we'd just sit around and be that's pretty good, that's good. And then he'd go, right, how far can we push the key? And you go up a tone, and you're like, where are you? Yeah, it's all right, just push it again. And, and Nick Bryan, the co-producer with Dan, would be like, no, come on, push it a bit more. It's good for straining. And in the end, you know, I'd end up like with sort of, you know, Mariah Carey, like high C's, trying to get. And I'm like, I can't. What are you doing to me? This is ridiculous. But they both thought that that was where the sort of charm was in my voice, really, when I was really sort of really pushing it. And those, I guess, those moments where it's almost breaking. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. So that range. If I'd had it my way, I'd have just been down here. But I didn't get the choice. It was just pushed and pushed and pushed. So yeah, sink or swim, really.
So that must have been so daunting for you, being the guitarist in music, just rocking out, to being the front man, the pressure of being the front man. And if you're thinking in your head, oh, you know, I shouldn't really be singing type thing, that must have put so much pressure on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's I suppose it did, really, in hindsight. But at the time, it was. Yeah, I think in hindsight, you're right. It probably did add an extra bit of pressure. But at the time, it was just we were just like, yeah, be all right, you know. Yeah. And just sort of, I didn't. Did I feel any pressure? I probably did feel a lot of pressure at the time, actually. Yeah. Just thinking about it now. Yeah. But especially as there was like because we'd sort of formed from the previous band, who had a phenomenal singer. I mean, Justin is. Anyone who you know sort of has the notion that they've got him pegged and it's just a bit of a one-trick pony with his falsetto, and that is massively missing the mark. He is a phenomenal singer, and he is an exceptional frontman of the highest caliber. And you know, it was important for us to not distance ourselves from the Darkness, but it was important that we were a different band, and we went out of our way to sort of to say that, you know, we're not the same band. You know, it's not the Darkness Mark II. This is a completely different thing, and even say, you know, just because you were into the Darkness, you may be into this, you know. But even though we were quite clear in saying that, and, you know, we knew in ourselves that we weren't the Darkness Mark II, I think, you know, I was still sort of in a lot of people's minds, I was still sort of following that singer, and that was, that in hindsight, that, if I'm honest, you know, probably was a bit of pressure there, really, you know. Yeah,
I've seen some of your performances, dude, and it's like, honestly, I'm not just saying it now, bud. It looks like you've been doing it for God knows how many years as a front man. I like watching you at Download and stuff, and it's just like, you walking across the stage with the guitar, and then you come back to the microphone. It's like, bang, this guy's killing it. Like, there we go.
I appreciate that. Oh, there you go. Look at that. That gig was that was probably one of my favourites. Even though it was the last Stone Gods gig, that was probably one of my favourite gigs. That it was we did the Sunday. The Sunday of Download, and or Donington, as I still refer to it as. And we were first on like 11:30 or whatever on the Sunday, and it was a glorious day. The sun was shining, it was brilliant, and we drove over. And I don't think any of us really expected, you know, thought, well, maybe a few people will sort of get out their tents and, you know, who's on? Hey, what? And there might be a smattering of people. But we went on, and it was rammed like right up to the mixing tower, was just, and it was going off. It was amazing. It really was a fantastic gig. And I don't know, everyone was in a brilliant mood. It was just, if you were going to do one last gig, that was a great one to do, really, even though we didn't know at the time it was one last gig. It sticks in my mind. I've got a real fondness for that show.
Yeah, man. Like in the front row, Stone Gods t-shirts, and
I know, yeah, it was brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
in fact, Robin Goodrich, our fantastic drummer and raconteur, we played a new song at that Donington show, a song called Going Under, and it's like a really sort of groovy song. It's like, and Robin, when we were sort of writing the song and that, we were demoing it and listening to it, and he was going, yeah, he said he's got it. He said it will just swing. He said it will just swing. And then sure enough, the camera on the footage pans down to this young lady on the front row who's sort of dancing. And we saw it. He goes, there it is, look at him, it's swinging. and it absolutely was in more ways than one. But yeah, it was, and that was, do you know what, that was quite we had like half an hour, and we decided to play a new song, which was pretty mad, really, just thinking about it. But yeah, it was a great gig. I loved it, absolutely loved it. And, you know, it's Donington, isn't it? It's Monsters of Rock. It's still got that, you know, in my head, and I'm sure in your heads too. It's still got that magic. Oh, there it is. Look at it. There's Tomes. There he is. Go on, Tomes. Go on, Tomes. Orko, there we go. Look at that. Oh, magic.
Killing it.
Good times, man. There he is, Robin. Look at that. He's a machine, that man. He's the grooviest drummer you've ever played with. He's amazing. It really is.
So is that the first time you've actually played Donington, bud?
No, we did the year before. We did 2008. Was that 2000? I think that was 2009. And we did 2008 on the second stage. We're like about second or third band on, something like that. And that was a good show. That was Robin's first gig
Right.
and we'd had a day's rehearsal. So we did Donington on the Friday. On the Thursday we rehearsed. On the Wednesday, Robin came up to meet us in Norwich where we were rehearsing and listened to the album on the train. That's the first time he'd heard us. And then we played Donington on the Friday, and I was petrified. I was pacing up and down backstage just before the gig, just going like, "Oh man!" He was as cool as a cucumber. He was like, "I'd be all right. Hey, don't know what you're worrying about. It'd be fine." Sure enough, it was. It was amazing. Yeah, but it was that was his first show.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he didn't care. He was like, yeah, whatever, it'd be all right. And he was absolutely right. You know, we were in safe hands. It was brilliant. It was fun.
That's
So for anyone like watching this now, obviously we know loads about you as well, but if we backtrack with it, you were part of the Darkness. For a period. You're part of their history now, like, you know. That
was amazing. There it is. Look at that. Oh my goodness! Look at that white leather trousers. Oh my god! I used to get flights in those things in the white leather trousers. What a knobhead! Unbelievable. But it was brilliant. It was amazing. I'm not going to lie. It was brilliant. It was everything you would want it to be, and more besides. I didn't see it coming. It was totally out of the blue. I'd been working for the band as Dan's guitar tech for I started working with the band just after Redding and Lee's 2003. And the band were just doing, I mean, when I say it was, you know, it was an incredible thing to be around a band who were kicking off the way that they were everywhere you went. It was amazing. And we did, because of course the touring they were doing at the end of 2003 had been booked for however long in advance. So we were going into like clubs, and it was going off. It was so exciting. It was amazing. And then 2004 was relentless. It was non-stop. It was just round the world. We started January with the big day out, or the big day off, as it's known, in Australia, which doesn't happen anymore. But it was a touring festival in Australia, it's legendary particularly with crews, because you'll do like a show and then have 3 or 4 days off, and then a show and 3 or 4 days off. So we started off the year with that and finished with 3 sold out nights at Wembley, and the whole year was just amazing. I mean, I've been, as I said earlier, I've been so lucky. I've worked with some brilliant bands, and I've done some amazing shows, and I've done some brilliant tours that I've absolutely loved. But that year was fantastic. It really was. And then we finished 2004. The band had to record the second album. So we went into Rockfield. We went in like I was going in to record the album. I wasn't. I was taking all the gear in, you know. I was driving down in the van with all the backline and all the guitars and stuff. And we were in Rockfield for 3 months, I want to say, 2.5, 3 months, doing backing tracks. And about 2 months into that session, that's when they asked me to join the band. So I could tell I'm not going to go into the ins and outs and the politics of it, but I could tell that something wasn't right, and there was conversations in corners, and and Justin hadn't been there much, and it was all a bit kind of weird. And then there was one night when Dan was in the control room we were in the control room, myself and Roy Thomas Baker. Mad. I made a record with Roy Thomas Baker. Hey, unbelievable. We were in the control room. Dan was in the live room, and he's just pacing up and down on his phone, and he was on for like an hour went by and he's still on his phone. 2 hours went by. And then he came through and Charlie went, Rich, can I have a word? And I was like, oh shit, I'm getting sacked. What have I done? And he went storming off, and I sort of followed after him and walked out of the studio into my bedroom at Rockfield. And he was just like, right. He said, Rich. I was like, yeah, what is it? What have I done? He's like, Rich. He said, Frankie's not in the band anymore, and we want you to be our new bass player. Will you do it? And I was like, what? Hey, what are you on about? He said, we want you to be our new bass player. I was like, hey, just roll that back a minute. What you saying? He said, look, Frankie's no longer in the band. We want you to be our new bass player. Please say you will. I was like, all right. Why? Go on then, twist my arm. But yeah, it was just, and we had a brilliant party that night, as you can probably imagine, a big old ding dong. But it was like I was in some, I don't know, it's like some mad dream or something, you know. And all I'd ever sort of wanted to do was be in a being a band and tour the world, and I'd given up the idea of doing that years ago because I got so busy as a guitar tech and a backline tech. I couldn't commit to a band. I couldn't, commit to rehearsals and all the rest of it. So I just kind of, I'd accepted the fact that, all right, well, my band days have gone, but I'm still living the dream, touring the world with other bands. This is still fantastic. And then suddenly it was like, there you go, Rich. There's your golden ticket. And
Wow.
it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing, and I just had the best. I think it was like about 18 months before the band split up in spectacular fashion. But I had the best time. It was fabulous, and I loved it. I loved it.
Well, we were watching that from the other side of the fence, where they just become a juggernaut of the rock world. Like, we said in the promos, they just become massive. I mean, you couldn't put on the TV without them collecting a Brit Award, or then they'd be just everything. Then headlining, am I right? They were headlining some of the major festivals, like straight away off the bat. There was no working away. Bang!
It was mad. It was mad. Yeah, it really was.
It really was. That's incredible.
It was, and to be a part of it from the point of view of a member of the touring crew was amazing, because you were like, just this is insane. But then to be in the band was, it was just brilliant. And I look. Whatever happens, I'll always be a roadie at art, and I had no sort of delusions of that's a rock star now, fantastic, here we go. And I was still very much I tried to sort of keep the feet on the ground, and it's just as well that I did, really, because like I say, about 18 months later. But just saying that about still being a roadie. The first Darkness show, actually, it wasn't technically the first Darkness show, but we'll call it the first Darkness show that I played. We did a warm up for the UK Arena tour at Norwich UEA, and so we're coming down for the start of the show. Walked down the stairs, and we had the huddle. And that was good. That was like my first sort of huddle before the show, and it was usually Dan who would speak, and we'd everyone would be like, yeah. And then I went to walk on the stage, and it was the intro was staggered. So Ed would go on and start playing the drums, and then I'd go on and boom 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 boom, just start playing this bass line, and then Dan would go on and digga, and then Justin would come on and then it'd all kick off. And so we'd done the huddle, and Ed's gone and he started playing, and I went to walk onto stage, and there was a bit of a lip on the stage, and my bass tech, Stuart Quinnell, who's he's legendary, he had, for a step, he'd used my my little red tool case that I'd toured the world God knows how many times with me. It's my roadie tool case. We've got a little red tool case about like that, and he put that down as a step to get me onto the stage, and I thought that was a really sort of beautiful little, I don't know, like a little, like a little moment.
Yeah.
But I never unpacked that tool case, which was just as well, because it wasn't long later that I was using it again. But but it was a really nice little moment. That was. It was like, oh, you know, it was I don't know. There's probably a word for it, but I can't think of it just now. But yeah, it was,
I
was
love
a
that.
great moment.
Yeah, without the tech in, you wouldn't have had that opportunity. And so it was your step up, like physically, emotionally, mentally. Yeah, absolutely.
It really was. It was it was cool. It was cool. But it was a great, it was I don't know, I keep saying, it was amazing. Yeah, it was great. But it was. It really was.
Tell me this, bud. What was more nerve-wracking? Stepping out on the first gig with the Darkness as a bass player, or stepping out as the front man first gig of Stone Gods?
I would say probably the Stone Gods thing, even though it was I don't know. Hang on, let me think.
We'll be back.
Yeah,
we'll go for a break.
I think it would be the Stone Gods thing, because the very first show we did for the Darkness was actually no, I completely lie. I'm lying to you. I told you my memory's awful. Now the first performance that I did with the Darkness was Letterman. And that was nerve-wracking because we hadn't really rehearsed. We did a song called "Is It Just Me" on Letterman, and that was my first sort of performance with the Darkness, and that was 10 million people, something like that.
Oh,
ridiculous.
wow.
And we hadn't really rehearsed the song. In fact, we hadn't rehearsed the song to the point where there should be backing vocals, but we'd not even worked out the harmonies. So there's no BVs. It was just, and that was pretty nerve-wracking. Yeah, that was probably more nerve-wracking than the first Stone Gods gig, which was at De Montfort Hall supporting Thin Lizzy. Yeah, I think the Letterman thing was quite scary. But the first full Darkness gig was it was like a private thing, and I think there was some royalty there maybe as well. So that was a bit weird. Yeah, I think the Letterman thing was probably the most scariest thing.
That's amazing, dude.
So Stone Gods, obviously, that was an easy transition, obviously, because you knew the guys. And like you said, you didn't want to be the Darkness too, as you said. And
no,
I mean, that album, I mean, we wish we were with you for the whole journey. But the truth is, I'd love to say that I was a fan from the beginning. But thank goodness friends of ours turned around and said, you have got to check out this record.
Brilliant.
It was Moose for me, I think. He was like, you got to check out this record. It's brilliant. And then
bless him.
Basically all of Bridgend were on this record then. It was just like still
I love the Welshies, man. Me and Toby very often say we've still to meet a Welshman we don't like. They're just fantastic bunch.
I can show you a few, Rich. I tell you.
We can show you.
I like to keep it Welsh based with work as well. I've worked for so many Welsh. I mean, for the last two, probably coming up 3 years, I've been looking after Kelly from the Stereophonics. Tom Jones I was working with before that. Obviously, Bullet for My Valentine I did for about 6 or 7 years. So I do like to keep things. In fact, Stuart Cable played in Stone Gods for a gig as well.
I did hear that.
So I definitely like to keep it Welsh based. Yeah.
Well, yeah, just even hitting on the bullet thing, but there, because I don't want to. Yeah, you ended up doing like a super group with Kev. Now, I mean,
that was
Kev's
amazing.
family with us. Like, do you know what I mean? We love Kev.
I love Kev.
But I had
Kev.
a text. I had a text off Moose going, "Check out YouTube." And there's a video of yourself, Calvin. Yourself, Calvin, Kev, and Moose as
That's
this
right.
super group.
Super grouper. So we
super group.
Bullet, we were playing in Bullet were playing in Mexico City. I forget the name of the venue. Oh, sorry, I just burped. Playing in Mexico City. It was probably 4,000 or 5,000 cap gig, and in the afternoon the support band just phoned up and said, "Well, we can't do it." So there was no support. So we were like, "Well, we sort of got a crew band, you know. We'll do it." And Matt, Tuck, and the boys were just like, "Yeah, go on, you do it." So we did, and we called ourselves Supergroup because, like, I was in a couple of bands. Kev was obviously in Acid Rain and Lawnmower Death. Yeah. Calvin was from the Smoking Hearts, and because the drum tech couldn't play the drums, Moose was our drummer. So we thought Supergroup would be a good thing, and we did. Matt introduced us in the style of a wrestling commentator, and he actually introduced us as Los Anos Horribles or something like that, I think it was. And we did totally off the cuff. We hadn't rehearsed. It was brilliant. We did. We came on with Breaking the Law, then we did the Trooper, and then we did Whiplash. There it is. Yeah,
there they are, boys.
But I'm not joking. I'm not joking. No exaggeration. There was 4,000 Mexicans in there, and they were going nuts, man. They were loving it. It was brilliant. But yeah, that was fun, man. Oh my god, that was so much fun.
Yeah, really, and that story, genuinely, now that story filtered back to Wales. It was like, man, you've got to check this video out. You've got to. It was just like, whoa. And then when we seen Kev was like, it was brilliant. Bag. You can imagine Kev. It was like
second. So we did Breaking the Law. Finished that song. Kev, top off. He's just got his shorts on. He's goose stepping around the stage, having it. It was amazing. It really was. It was like we were headlining this thing or something. Going, Mexico, come on, Mexico, scream for me, Mexico. That sort of thing. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, it really was. I was telling the boys that in the week. Yeah, because you did the Trooper.
Yeah,
I think you did the Trooper
and Whiplash as well. Yeah,
Whiplash. But when you did the Trooper, it was that line there, "Scream for me, Mexico."
It's madness, isn't it? It's madness. It really is. But yeah, we had to have Moose playing. I think Moose really liked it though, because it was a warm up for him. Like he did a 3-song warm up. There's Kevin with top off. Look at him marching around the stage. That was brilliant. Oh, good times, man. Good times.
Oh man. And obviously you got the jam with the boys as well, like staying on point. But there with the you stepped in for the BBC with the whole lot of Rosie.
Whole lot of Rosie. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. That was good, man. That was like it was. I was pretty tight actually. That was. I did a couple of things. What's the song called? There's a song that used to do it occasionally live, and we only did it a couple of times, but Matt had never just been able to sing. You know, he'd always sort of had the guitar there. So I think he quite liked the idea of having a bit of freedom and just to sing into a microphone. So I played a bit of guitar live a couple of times. And Breaking Point, that was a song. Oh, is that the Hollow Rosie thing? Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, man.
I was good. That went out live on Radio 1, I think. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I remember listening to it live, and then obviously, I can't remember what the year this was, and then remember seeing it appear later. It was almost like, oh, I didn't know that. And when I seen you playing guitar, then I was like, fucking hell, that's brilliant.
Yeah, it was good, man. Oh, I miss the boys, man. I miss the boys. We had some last. It's like as I keep saying, I've been so lucky throughout my career. I've worked with some incredible bands, and but the laughs that I've had with Bullet were just. I think if I were to write a book about my my career at the my time at the Rock and Roll Coalface, which I never will, by the way. But if I were to, I think the chapter about Bullet would be the most heavily censored.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, we had some brilliant times.
We're their mates, and you know what I mean. Everything.
We had some brilliant times, man. I do miss the boys. Really.
But you said one, but that completely shook me. I mean, I knew about the Phonics. You've done Faith No More. Am I right?
Faith No More. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah,
that was another pinch me moment. You know, I mean, listening to the Real Thing when it came out. Again, it was my brother. He was a Faith No More fan. He had Introduce Yourself. And then he bought the Real Thing when it came out, and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And you sort of put it on, amazing. I was like, "This is incredible," and I was a huge fan. And then, you know, I ended up working with him, and that was amazing. That was amazing. There's been a few of them. Robert Plant was another one. Working with him was. But now there you go, Shane. There's a singer. Oh my God,
wow,
mate. Honestly, so I was so lucky to be working with him. It's one of those moments where you're like, right, I've got to play it cool. I'm here to do a job.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I've never liked Led Zeppelin. I don't know Robert who. I know it's cool. But a very good mate of mine, Ollie, is his production manager, and there was some stuff that the regular tech couldn't do, so I came in to fill in. And we were in rehearsals, this lovely place in Somerset, rehearsing. And setting the gear up, and the band turn up, and Robert turns up, and they say don't meet your heroes, which is absolute bollocks, because 99.9% of the time, 99.9% of the heroes I've met have been lovely. Robert Plant was no exception. He was amazing. He was the funniest, most down-to-earth, loveliest guy you've ever had the pleasure to meet. And then they started rehearsing, and he started singing. Oh my God. It's like, if you had any doubt about whether or not he'd still got it, it's incredible. I mean, the hairs on the back of my neck are going now. But so it gets to the end of the set, and they're working out a new, like a long intro to Whole Lot of Love. And they're sort of getting it going, and drummer's getting it going, and everyone's joining in. And then Skin, one of his guitar players, fires up the oh, that sounds all right. But then Planty, he grabs his mic, he kicks the stand, grabs it with the other hand, and he goes, "You need to," and it was like, oh my God, honestly, oh, I'm shivering just thinking about it. It was the most incredible noise you've ever heard in your life. It was amazing.
Did he do much? I'm really interested about that now. Did he do sort of much warm up, or was it just bang? He went straight in.
He was, well, I mean, I don't know before he starts singing how much warm up he does. I know he has a special drink that Ollie makes for him. But I don't, if I'm honest, I don't know how much actual vocal warm ups he does before. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Rich, can you find out for me what that drink is and
well, yeah, but that was incredible. And then we did Later with Jules, and after the show, we were all in. There's like a hotel just nearby the studio in Maidstone where generally you stay, and so the band, we finished the recording. The band went back there, and we packed the gear away, loaded the truck. Back to the hotel, and as we were walking through, Robert sat in the bar with a couple of the band, and he's like, "Oh, lads, go on." So there's a tab open, sit yourselves down. And so we sat down. He said, "Well, they wanted to close it, but I said no, so they kept it open." And he was in the chair all night, whatever you wanted. And we sat down, and I'm sat there. Robert's next to me. There's a couple of the band and a couple of the crew, and for 2-3 hours it was story after story after story after story. And bear in mind, the last 20 years I've spent touring America, lying in my bunk in American tour buses, reading Hammer of the Gods and going, oh my God, read these stories. I've got straight from the horse's mouth, and wow. and like you can see why the books get written about him, because he'll tell you anything. It was like nothing was off limits. Unbelievable, and all those things that you've been told in Hammer of the Gods. Oh yeah, that's not true. Turns out some of them are, you know, it's amazing. But it was just unbelievable. It really was. And it was, you know, that's another pinch me moment. Amazing. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, I've been very lucky. Tom Jones that's a singer. Oh my God.
I was just going to say that to you, mate, because like I said, I've followed you for years and stuff, and I didn't know the Tom Jones thing. Like I knew Stereophonics and I knew Faith No More. I knew with Bullet. But I didn't know that, man. That's was that recent or was that years ago?
Yeah, it was 2019. We did I did an American tour, and oh my God, it's just like it's effortless. It's absolutely effortless. He opens his mouth and this thing just comes out, and oh my God, it's just unbelievable. And again, what a sweet bloke, a really, really lovely fella. And he's obviously good friends with Kelly. Kelly's another one, man. My God, his voice is just unbelievable, and the sweetest guy. I must say, there's obviously the last year has been dreadful for bands, for yourselves, for crew, for everybody in the live. You know, just over a year ago, the live music business just gone, finished, doesn't happen anymore. And it's been really tough times, and there's a lot of bands have been doing some incredible stuff for their crew. Radiohead, I worked with Radiohead as well. That was amazing. But they just released some special T-shirts today. The proceeds of which go into their crew. Faith No More did a whole range of merch and masks and that sort of stuff. All the proceeds going to Brian Ferry. I think his latest album, all the proceeds are going to his crew. And so there's a lot of bands doing some amazing stuff. Nick Cave, I think he did some stuff for his crew. But there's also a lot of bands who are doing stuff on the QT. And I've got to say, without going into any specifics, we, with the Stereophonics, we were the last, well, there was us and Lewis Capaldi were the last couple of tours that were happening just before lockdown, just before everyone went, no, that's it. We were the last tours touring, and we had shows booked up to September, and obviously those shows weren't going to happen. But the boys, I can't go into specifics, but they really looked after their core crew on the QT. You know, no one knows about it, but they really took care of us. And I know there's a couple of other bands that I know have done the same. And I think that's just fantastic. I really do. You know, we were blessed. But he's a lovely guy. They're a lovely bunch of. In fact, I ended up playing piano on their last record, which was weird. It's funny how things come about, isn't it? Well, we'd gone into I'd gone in with them to record the last album in just look after the gear and stuff in Wiltshire, Somerset, and one morning there's a beautiful upright Bosendorfer in the studio, and I'm no Richard Clayderman, but I know a few chords and I enjoy having a play, you know. And I'm having a bash one morning, and Kelly comes in. He went, "Oh, play piano, do you?" I said, "Well," I said, "Not really." I said, "But I can play a few chords." Yeah. Oh. Later on that afternoon, that George Draculius was co-producing the record with Kelly, and oh man, what a character he is! That's brilliant. Anyway, so they were recording one particular song, and it needed some piano, and Kelly said, "Rich, you go and play a piano?" So, well, yeah, okay, fair enough. And they sort of wrote the chords down, and I did it. And then, there was another song. And I was like, play some on this as well. And then I played some organ as well. And then I did some backing vocals. And but it was brilliant. And I ended up, and he sent me, when they got the artwork done, and he sent me a copy of the artwork. And sure enough, it's got vocals and guitar, Kelly Jones, bass, Richard Jones, drums, whatever. Piano, Richie Edwards. I was like, man, that's
mate.
great. Felt good. And the album went to #1. So I, for like a week or 2 weeks or however long, I was the #1 piano and organ player in the UK, even though I can't really play very well.
Yes.
funny how things go, isn't it?
That's an amazing story, bro. That's an amazing story. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny, really, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. But we can't have you here not talk about this album that you did back in 2008, because this was a big deal for us. As Ronnie's not messing there, like in Bridgend in particular, the Welsh love this album, Silver Spoons and Broken Bones. Man, from start to finish, it is so. If you haven't heard this, guys, Crow family, anybody watching, what an amazing album this is, and I'll tell you why. There's so many influences on this album, right? Like Burn the Witch, I hear NXS, I hear Iron Maiden, started something Tom Petty, Aerosmith.
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty, dude, is all over that song. Started something. It's like Thin Lizzy, Three Colors Red. I hear that. Audio Slave, Chris Cornell vibe.
ACDC.
I went swimming with Chris Cornell once. That's another story. I can't get into that.
Yeah, we'll come back to the album.
Tell us that story.
No, I didn't. When I say I went swimming with Chris Cornell once, we were mixing the Darkness record at the Village Recorder in Santa Monica, and we were staying at the Beverly Hills Hotel. We were there for about 2 months. It must have cost an absolute fortune.
Yeah.
In fact, Dan's extras bill alone for the time he was there was £1,000. Anyway, so we had every morning we'd go and sit by the pool, and we had a cabana by the pool, and we'd sit by the pool, mess about in the pool, and then the studio would ring, and we'd go and listen to whatever mix. And the one morning, Chris Cornell was in there with his baby son, just doing some lengths, and so so dived in and. All right, Chris. All right. we're going, oh my God, that's Chris Cornell, amazing, absolutely amazing. But it's one of those sort of, one of those kind of hotels where you sort of give one a nod and they go, I'll sort of nod you back. But it was amazing. Yeah. Anyway,
that's amazing. You've been swimming with Chris Cornell. I'd have to breaststroke past him and go, no one sings like you anymore.
Oh my God. How sad was that though, man? How sad was that? Just awful. What a voice. What do you reckon to his version of Patience?
Beautiful, dude. Whenever he strips back, back any song, that voice comes through, and it's so intimate and so touching and
amazing.
It's incredible, bud. I mean, really you wrote that lyric, no one sings like you anymore. And it's just, now you look back and think, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's about you. Like,
Yes, tingles, man. That really is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. But the Silver Spoons and Broken Bones was, I'm knocked out that you even like anyone even liked it. It was a weird time. It was really strange, and like I have a strange. Well, I've always had a strange relationship. Not always. When everything sort of split up and the Darkness reformed, my relationship with that album, if I'm completely honest, got a bit weird really, and I haven't listened to it for God knows how long. The only time I do is if something pops up on shuffle, and invariably I would just skip. But ahead of coming on here, I've listened to it a couple of times. I listened to it a couple of days ago and listened to it today, and it is actually pretty good.
It is, but
do you know what I mean? I was listening to it previously. When I've listened to it, I've heard, like I could hear. There was a lot going on when we were writing this record and recording this record, and although we had some brilliant laughs and a lot of fun, it was also quite a dark time. I mean, the Darkness had just split up. The fallout of that, as you guys can probably imagine, was massive. And Dan was having to sort of, he'd he'd got that on his shoulders, and every day was, you know, it was calls from lawyers, it was calls from the bank, it was calls from the label, it was calls from, and he's having to sort of fend these off at the same time as we're trying to write some songs for an album of a band that doesn't exist. I mean, normally you would write some songs, you go out and do a few gigs, and then you'd record an album, whereas we didn't do any of that. We just kind of got together after the Darkness split up and started writing some songs, and we didn't know what band we were, we didn't know what we were about, or we didn't know what the sort of live approach would be, or anything. And there was some, you know, everybody individually was dealing with shit, and collectively we were dealing with shit as well. I mean, there was divorces, there was, you know, it was a dark time. And I don't want to paint too big a picture, because we had a lot of fun making it, a lot of fun. And then, you know, touring it and all the rest of it, it was great fun. But I think because everything sort of fell apart and the Darkness reformed, I think I just, you know, that thing where it's like, I don't want to be reminded of it. And the album reminded me of it. And I would hear, the sort of the negativity rather than the positivity. And so I had a bit of a weird relationship with it. And then, like I say, just listening to it a couple of times recently, I hope I've sort of got over that. You mean, you were saying about singing earlier, Shane, and like there's a couple of points in the album where I'm sort of happy with my vocals. And the rest of it, I'm just like, oh, I wish I could just go back in and do it again, you know. And that's hard as well. But you have to just go, right, that was a moment in time. That album was made then. That's it. It's done, you know, and sort of, you know, and not think like that about it. Do you know what I mean? So
it is hard, but we've had these conversations when we've spoken to other musicians. It is very difficult for a musician to hear it as Joe Public hears it, because we pick it apart. We, you know, if I want to go back in and redo that part, but dude, there's nothing but energy. There's some really killer songs, killer hooks, killer riffs, the vibes from it. But like I said, right, this. So, I mean, I know Tom Petty's a big sort of inspiration. Are you aware of that when you write in songs and these parts and think, oh, dude, then a reminder of, is that a conscious thing, or was it just?
I mean, you can't help but absorb what's around you and what you listen to, but it's certainly not a conscious thing. I'm sure it's the same with yourself. You don't sort of sit down and go, right, we're going to write a song that in the style of. It just sometimes sort of happens, and you will have that moment of, in fact, when we were recording the One Way Ticket, the second Darkness album, there's a couple of moments in the studio where Dan sort of would have me. I've got quite a good musical knowledge, and I love a music quiz, by the way. If ever you're doing one, I'd love to take part.
Cool. That's good.
But I love them. But anyway, so he would sort of very often turn around and go, that reminds me of something. What does it remind me of? And you know, you'd be like, oh, I can't really hear anything. But occasionally you will sort of write something and go, that reminds me of such and such, or it's in the style of such and such. It's not. I don't think that's ever an intentional thing where you set out to do that. You know, it's weird. Recently, like over lockdown, I've ended 2019 after my #1 chart success playing the piano. I bought a piano, and I'm really glad I did, because in lockdown, you know, it was, well, what did we do? We watched, me and the missus watched all 86 episodes of The Sopranos, because we hadn't watched it first time around. Oh my God, that was amazing. Oh, unbelievable. And we watched all of Peaky Blinders, which we hadn't watched first time around, which was brilliant. And now we've gone back and we're rewatching Breaking Bad for the second time, and it's better the second time, actually, I've got to say. Anyway, other than that, I've just been sort of playing the piano and writing songs, and I've written loads of songs, but I've just got this weird thing going on now where, and I think I know what it is, but I just can't. I'm writing something, it's great, yeah, this is really good, and then you sort of record it, and you record the backing track, and you're thinking you've got a sort of melody idea in your head, and you know, oh, this could be about this, and then do the backing track, come to look at lyrics and a melody, and I just can't. It's like I don't know, it's like the door sort of shuts, and everything I try just sounds rubbish, or it sounds like, oh no, that's not right. And so I think, oh well, I'll leave it, I'll come back to it, and then write another song. And I've got so many backing tracks, some of which I think are brilliant, but I just can't get past it. I don't know what's happened, and well, I didn't know what happened, but I think it's I just need to write with somebody. Do you know what I mean? Like it's really difficult to write on your own, because you can't create something and have that filter of whether it's good or shit. You can't do both, you know, unless you're very lucky. You know, you can't look at it objectively and go, that's not really very good. That, you know, you could, because you've created it, you know. I think it's quite difficult to do that, and so I think I miss writing with somebody. Yeah, you know.
No, that's a good point.
Really miss doing that.
Because we're writing at the moment now, and but I've had many chats with the boys. You know, you take it to a certain level, and you got these ideas, but you need the other boys' input, to just spark it off, maybe in a different direction, or the energy of somebody else. And that's why, you know, writing with the Crows is brilliant, because we all like the same stuff, but we got different vibes and different styles, and it's that's really important. What sets you apart from anybody else is the people you're working with. So I totally get what you're saying, Rich.
Definitely.
Totally.
I mean, looking at Silver Spoons and Broken Bones. In fact, the title of that album, it was Toby who came up with the title of that album, and that was really it's a good reflection of what it was like at the time, because the Darkness had split up, and we were squirreled away in Dan's house, where he had a studio, writing some songs, and it was being written about in like the tabloids, in the Sun and the Mirror, and there was like, you know, things in daily newspapers with, oh, Justin's left the Darkness, but it's okay because the bass player is going to sing and it's going to be fun. We had no intention of being the Darkness Mark II. You know, that was never on the agenda. But to the outside world, not that anyone really cared. I'm not thinking for a second that people were even giving us a second thought. But the perception was that we were living in a golden palace, drinking unicorn milk, you know, and being waited on by, I don't know, maybe that's what, or whatever.
Maybe that's what Robert Palmer was drinking, dude.
Robert Plant.
Robert Palmer.
Unicorn milk. Robert Palmer does drink unicorn milk. Actually, I've seen him.
Robert Plant,
and Silver Spoons and Broken Bones was a sort of put a plan on that. Well, you think that it's one way, but in actual fact, you know, it's really not. It's quite there's a lot of there's quite a dark element really to this whole thing. But we would just sit around a table with a couple of acoustic guitars. We'd never write in a live room with electric guitars and drums. And it's just, I think, from that sort of mindset of, if a song is good on an acoustic guitar, it's good. Do you know what I mean? If you know a song's great when you strip it back to its bare essentials and it still sounds amazing. So that's the way we wrote every song, and nothing was off limits. You know, someone would just play something and then someone else would chime in and we'd sort of write some lyrics, and everyone would just throw their two penneth in, and that was sort of how that album came about. And album 2 sort of came out very much the same way. And I think I just really miss, you know, that sort of bouncing ideas off someone and someone going, Rich, that's really good, or Rich, that bit's really shit, you know, and just having that interaction. I think I really miss that.
So exclusively, there was a second album. Is
There
that
was.
going to see? Is that actually going to see the light of day? Because we said as soon as we get you on, yeah, we're literally going to probe you. If you can't say nothing, that's absolutely fine. But
I can say something, Ronnie. It was recorded in, when did we record it? So it was probably 2008, 2009. In fact, when we did Donington, we'd just sort of written everything and started recording, or I don't know. The dates are quite hazy, but it was some time ago, and we finished it. With the exception of a few guitar solos, and it was done, and everyone went their separate ways. The recording process was like night and day to Silver Spoons and Broken Bones. That was it was a very long process, whereas the second album was just, it was like songs would just appear and they were like, every single one was great, and the recording was like a week or 2 weeks or whatever. It was completely different experience. But yeah, it was done, and then just after it was finished, Dan reformed. Well, not Dan reformed the Darkness. The Darkness reformed, and so Stone Gods was essentially no more. I'm not going to lie, you know, I was gutted at the time, but everything happens for a reason. Anyway, that album sat on a dusty hard drive until there was a global pandemic, which sort of kicked Dan Hawkins into gear, and he took the tracks into his studio and mixed them. And it was so out of the blue. So one afternoon, nice as you please, just getting on with lockdown life, doing some, I don't know, probably baking some banana bread or something. And the WhatsApp pinged, and it was, you've been added to the group SG2. And I was like, what the fuck was SG2? And I'm like looking, Toby's on it, and Dan set it up, and Robin's on it. I thought, this is really weird. And this message came through from Dan. It was like, right, look, I've got a bit of time, so I've been looking at the album, and I'm going to mix it. So there you go. And we thought, no, I was like, well, this is great. And I sort of spoke to Tobes. I'm like, Tobes, man, this is brilliant. He said, oh no, yeah, but I think both of us thought, well, you know, we'll see, because Dan's a busy man. He's got a lot going on. Yeah. He's got obviously writing for the Art, and I think he does some music for like kids' TV shows and stuff. And so he's a busy man. And we just thought, well, we're probably not going to hear anything more about this, but you know, it's nice to chat about it. And a day or two later, ping, this message came through, check your emails. And the first rough mix, well, say rough mix, it's the only mix we've got of it at the moment. The first mix of a song called Life on File came into our inboxes, and oh my God, it was like, I'm buzzing about it now. It was like Christmas. It was like, this is fun. You know, it felt fantastic for a number of reasons. Firstly, the song sounded really good, but it was just the idea that finally it might get finished. And if that's all we ever do, at least it's, you know, it's underlined. It's like, right, it's finished, it's done. So it felt good, but listen to that and great, brilliant. And everyone's, oh, it's fantastic, it's really good. And then you sort of think, well, yeah, we probably won't get another one. Sure enough, next day, ping, another one. And then next day. And it was like, but the thing was, because you got to bear in mind, like none of us had, well, we hadn't heard these songs for 2009, 10, 12, 11 years, 12 years.
Yeah,
we haven't heard them. So you forget about them, you know. I've got some old demos of them, you know, which occasionally, after a few too many sherbets, Tobes and I do some misty-eyed reminiscing back at my flat in Brighton. But other than that, we'd not heard them, and it was like everyone was coming through. I was going, "Wow, this is really good," and completely conversely to Silver Spoons and Broken Bones, I'm really genuinely happy with all of my vocal performances on this record, and that felt really good. As you know, as a non-singer, to hear your voice and be pleased with your performance felt amazing. So he finished it. He mixed them all. There's probably a few mix tweaks to do, and it needs mastering, but it's pretty much done. And we had, when there was the slight let up in the lockdown restrictions last October, November, we had a socially distanced get together, myself, Dan, and Tobes, round at Toby's place, when his lovely lady was away. We descended on his house, and we got Robin on FaceTime in LA, because he lives in LA now, because he was a drummer in Bush, and Bush reformed, and it's a long story. Yeah. So we had him on FaceTime, and we were listening to the record, and we were having a few beers, and it was like the last sort of 12 years had never happened. It was amazing. It was fantastic. Yeah. So we're really excited about it. And what we didn't want to do was, I think over the years, in fact, Tobes and I sort of spoke a couple of times and just said, well, let's just leak it. Let's just mix it and just put it on the internet, just so it's out there. And it's, otherwise we just wasted our time back then. We made this record that no one's going to hear. Let's just give it away. And then we sort of heard the final record and went, oh, it's a bit too good to do that with. It's so I think we're gonna do something with it. We've had there's been a bit of interest from various record labels, which is amazing. We never thought that would happen. But there has been a bit of interest, and we're sort of umming and ahhing about what to do. But what we don't want to do is just sort of let it, just sort of put it out and just have it a bit as a bit of a wet fart and not be able to do anything with it. So we're certainly gonna wait until the live music business gets back to some sort of normality, and the music business kind of gets back into gear, and because we definitely want to do some shows. If we release the record, 100% we want to do some shows. On the last WhatsApp chain that was going around, there was Dan posed one idea, which he described as preposterous, and Robin's reply to that was, "It's a different world now, Dan. Preposterous is the way forward." So, so I think everyone's on the same page. We want to do something. Robin's only concern was, he said, we were talking about it when we were having the get together, and saying, well, let's do some shows, let's. And he said, well, you got a drum kit? Have you got a drum kit? Because obviously he's got to fly in from LA. He didn't want to bring his drums, but that was his only concern. Well, you got a drum kit, so so that was good. But it's exciting. I think all of us are really excited. But what we don't want to do is just, as I say, just sort of throw it out and then just have it sort of like a shit firework that just sort of fizzles out. Because I genuinely think it's pretty good, man. And it's weird, like it doesn't. I don't think anyway. It doesn't sound dated. It doesn't sound like it was recorded 12 years ago. I think the songs still stand up. Lyrically, it's night and day to Silver Spoons and Broken Bones. When we wrote that, we were all sitting around a table just sort of having a laugh, writing words that we thought that made us laugh. And they ended up on a record, which, be careful about that, everybody, because something that seems funny when you're sitting around a table, all of a sudden, 12 years later, 15 years later, when you're listening to it and it's not quite as amusing. So don't write a song about 24-hour drinking just before 24-hour licensing becomes a thing. That was a mistake. I mean, Where Oh My Beero, the closer of the record, I actually think it's a brilliant song. The production's great on it, but lyrically, it's cringeworthy, man. And it's like, oh my God, what were we thinking? You know, but it was fun at the time. Whereas the second album is it's night and day. It's still relevant. Like the things that we were about then are still relevant now. And that's, in a way, that's a little bit scary, but yeah. So it has a provisional title, which I won't share with you, because if it doesn't end up being that, I'll look like a knobhead. But it will be. It will. I don't know. I think people will like it. I think if you like the first record, I think you'll like the second one. In fact, if you like the first one, I think you'll like the second one even more. And if you don't, well, you know, there's no refunds. You know the drill. It's exciting to think that it's finally going to come out, and we can tick that box and go, we did it. We finally did it. You know. In fact, another band who were around at the same time as us, Black Spiders, they've just put out a new record. But to be fair, they wrote it and recorded it recently. They haven't had it kicking around for 12 years. But that's amazing. Like
genuinely, Rich, and it's the same story with the Black Spiders. Your record, Black Spiders, we were speaking about them when we used to be in a van. This is early Crows now. I mean, you know this, because for anybody watching, when I met Rich years ago, I was like, fucking hell, he's in Stone Gods. Like, you know, because we all used to headbang, like Burn the Witch and stuff in barbecues. Man. And then amazing. I met Toby along the way, and I think I always used to like send you a text here and there going, get back together, we'll come and play a show with you, and just little things like, you know. So Black Spiders, we're another band, we're in a shame, where early on in the Crows' career we were like, fuck, they're a great band, and they've just kind of split up. And we were like, God, and then we always mention Three Colors Red. And genuinely now I put those records all in the same thing, because they're bands. Amazing. They're bands from like Bridgend musicians, Bridgend music fans that we were like, fuck, we never got like, for me, I never got to see you guys. So I'm a later on fan. I don't know if the boys are aware of, you've got loads of them where people only caught wind of your record maybe, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years after you parted ways, and that's how music works, doesn't it? Who's this band? And then you're like, fuck, they're not even together. Oh no, you know. You know what,
mate? I'm still amazed. Like, I still get, you know, sound like some aging rocker on the telly, but I still, it amazes me when I get messages on social media from people just saying, you know, oh, I dig your band, or, you know, I saw you back in the day and I still like it, and, you know, or you know, you got me through some shit, or, you know, and it blows me away, because like I just never took it for granted, and if you've had any sort of impact on somebody, it's amazing. It blows my mind that's even a thing, really, you know, and that some guys in Bridgend were into band. It was like, it's incredible. I think
we've been on the road for hours in a van, you know what it's like, and it's claustrophobic fucking hours on the road, and then like we've had your record on in the background, for example, and I don't know, there's like a smile in the air, and it's like if it was a movie, if it was like one of those music movies, it's almost like we didn't have, like, say, a Led Zeppelin track or something. It would have been like your record, and we're like, fuck, this is. Yeah, and that's a genuine thing. That's why we wanted you on here for so long, just to kind of go, yet again, you know, thank you for creating that record, you and the boys.
It means so much. It really does.
And no, we're probably not the only ones out there where it's just such a great record. So it'd be fantastic from our point of view to see you back, even if it was for a couple of shows, just to see you back on that stage, and playing both records would be phenomenal. Like, you
exactly.
know? So,
well, that was the thing. Touring the first one, we hardly had any material, really. He just had one record, you know, that's it. But I mean, it's exciting. It's really exciting, and we definitely will do some shows. If the record gets released, when the record gets released, we'll 100% be doing some shows. Yeah, for sure. It would be criminal, I think, to just put it out without doing that. And everyone's into it, you know. Everyone's excited about it, and yeah, it's good. It's good to be able to say that as well now, you know, and go, because so many people have asked, you know, I've had messages from people on Facebook and Instagram saying, well, what happened with that second record? Why don't you release that second record? And you sort of always had to say, yeah, well, maybe one day. And to be able to say, well, it's done. I can, you know, I can listen. You can't listen. Well, you can listen. I can listen to it. It's done. It's ready. It's there, ready to go. You know, it feels amazing, really, to be in that position. So it's exciting.
Man. Yeah, I cannot wait to catch a Stone Gods gig, man. That is epic, dude. That's such great news.
Thank
Richie,
you.
thank you so much for joining us tonight, bro.
Thank you for having me. I don't honestly. I wasn't joking when I first came on earlier on. It's a real honor. You've had some big hitters on this show over the last year, and to be included is amazing, and I'm genuinely really honored. And by the way, I think it's absolutely fantastic what you do. When I'm cooking in the kitchen, I listen to 6 music, and then when it does get a little bit up its own arse sometimes, it's Planet Rock. I sort of alternate between the two. And then every time I turn Planet Rock on, it's sick of me. Yeah. Every time. But man, what a tune. I think it's brilliant. I think what you're doing is amazing, and I absolutely love it. And you're great guys, and it's good that you're doing, just great to see you doing so well. I love it.
Richie,
so here's to you.
Thank you, brother. Joe. Thank you very much. Honestly, we can't wait to catch up with you, Toby. We'll probably get Dan or someone on in the future as well when the second record's got a name, and we've got a date. We will get you on, get them on, or whatever, and we can really push it to the hills, because it's something we love anyway. Like, you know, so, and we can't wait to see you soon, honestly, and have a beer with you, mate.
Oh, I can't wait. Looking forward to it.
Take care, brother.
Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers.
Take care, Rich. Thank you.
See you later.
What a dude. What a dude.
Absolutely brilliant.
That's so good. Stone Gods are coming back, y'all. Brilliant.
Incredible exclusive, mate. I'm so glad he could share that with us. And he knew he was having it off us. It was going to be relentless. But it's so great to hear that second record is happening. Well, we knew it was recorded, but it's actually gonna see the light of day, like, you know. That's and if they could do some gigs as well, Shane, that'd be phenomenal, like, you know.
I'd love to catch a gig, honestly. That'd be amazing.
Let's get the boys in, so we can have a chat about the record. Here's Dave, there's Lloyd, and then there's O'Shiner.
Right, boys. That was good, wasn't it? I cannot bloody wait for that.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's really humble, boys.
Yeah.
Like I said, his stories are phenomenal. There's so much we didn't touch on, because it was just amazing. I mean, there was a couple of things I didn't know there about, like, Tom Jones. So I'm like, whoa! And then the Chris Cornell. I'm glad you stopped him there, Shane.
That was brilliant, boys. That was brilliant.
You know, he did the whole Jägermeister thing with the Bullet Boys, and
of course.
There's loads, but there's so much. You know, it is a part 2. We'll probably get Richie on again anyway, and he loves a music quiz, so we should get him on. We should get him on a music quiz night, like, you know. But honestly, I think all of you boys, you all love that album, innit? It's something you know, we haven't just said.
Incredible, amazing record, man, from start to finish.
Yeah,
packed full of melody. Like Shane said, you got Tom Petty. It's just so much influence throughout that record.
Yeah.
I love it. And like, I went for a run a couple of weeks ago, and down Merthyr Mawr, guys. It's quite a medieval sort of village, isn't it? An old hamlet. And that Burn the Witch. Come on, I was like running through, thinking, I'm gonna burn the witch. Like, I was there. I was visualizing, like, fucking someone being burnt at the stake. I'm going,
yeah, it's such, you know, some bands have albums and the whole album has got a sound, has got a vibe. This album is like an album full of singles, because every song has got a different influence. It's like it's almost like a collaboration album. Do you know what I mean? That makes sense when you listen to it.
It's just hit after hit.
One track sounds like Tom Petty, another sounds like Aerosmith. Then you got this combo of like In Excess and Iron Maiden, AC/DC. It's like, where did that come from? It's
Metallica and Anthrax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always remember, I got a really, really fond memory of listening to him when we were on tour and we had the album on and Start of Something came on.
Yes.
Now, have you seen...
I get a Bryan Adams vibe on that.
Yes,
exactly,
me
yeah.
too.
Have you seen the film Almost Famous?
Yes.
Where the scene where they're on the tour bus singing Tiny Dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like good vibes. That was us singing Start of Something.
Yeah.
And like you've got these like Bryan Adams, Tom Petty vibes. The chorus just goes up there and we're all singing along, we're all happy. I don't know if Richie realizes that
What's that, bud?
Oh,
No, stopped in mid-flow.
hang on, go on, Dave.
that-
go on.
I don't
Richie
think Richie realizes that influence he's had on us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the influence he had on us, that sort of like we were living a movie moment
The thing is,
to one of their tunes, like
you're right, Dave. And I met Toby years ago in Brighton, and I give him the same as I would Richie. I was just like, "Fuck, I love your band, man." And he was, and he's humble again because you worked with him when he did Owls, didn't you, Shine? And he came down to record with Padge, Toby and the guys. And it's a bit of
voice is amazing.
Toby's got he's got a great voice as well.
Yeah.
They were really grungy, they were, weren't they?
Yeah, really. Yeah, but yet again, up our street, it's almost like what
Melodic.
Shane said. Yeah, they seem to write songs or whether it be a chord structure or melody lines that really
that
like
song they had. She said she's only joking. Brilliant, man. Class band.
Yeah, that's another good album to listen to, or EP.
Yeah, EP. That's a great EP. But yet again, he still added off us how good Stone God to it. Fucking hell, like honestly.
I think Richie's got that humbleness about him, and he talks. He doesn't talk down about himself, but he doesn't give himself great credit. But that's probably because he was the tech, and he's been around these superstars and seeing them doing this thing, and then looks at himself. Oh well, I don't know. There's a humbleness about him, and he doesn't think he's that, and he is though. It was
that whole story about the red toolbox, which he said.
Beautiful.
It was so much meaning, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I've got half his stories to tell, and his memories that he's lived by the time I'm kicking on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, incredible. He could write a book.
Fair play.
Yeah, he could write a book. That's true. The only problem is half of it's censored.
Yeah, that's right. That's
the problem. Like, you got half the memories, and then you got half the memories he can't actually talk about. So it's incredible. But yet again, thank you massively, Richie, for coming on the show.
Yes.
And so cool. Stone Gods. Second album, named to be revealed hopefully soon, and news on live shows. It's phenomenal to be even saying that, isn't it? That's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's got to happen. I mean, it's got to happen.
Yeah, and speaking of shows, just a little segue. We had a show announced this week, boys. Beautiful, and so glad to be returning back to. Go on, Lloyd.
Inverness!
Yes.
Scotland!
Absolutely love the guys up in Monsterfest. We were able to sort something out. So we will see you at Monsterfest Wednesday, the 10th of November. And we can't wait. I mean, you look at that lineup, 4 days, some great bands on there. And yet again, we get to go back up to Inverness.
Yeah, man, that was good fun, man.
It was the best.
Make sure you bring your socks this time. And
I'll bring some socks and a coat this time, yeah. Or maybe I won't. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe you will.
Don't forget your guitar this time.
Yeah.
It is mad though, because obviously the last 12 months, our posts have been about CrowCast or merch. This is an actual show. It's mad.
Look at that. Remember them boys?
Yes. Oh, I can't wait.
Incredible. We love Scotland, love Inverness. The last time we were up there, the Monsterfest guys looked after us so well. The fans, the audience were incredible. it felt like a home gig. It was they just I don't know, the Scottish, they just love their rock music and so passionate.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. Absolutely
never had a
brilliant.
bad one. Never had a bad one in Scotland, have we?
We had a
No,
nice curry that night as well, boys. We had lovely curry.
Yes, we
you
did.
did.
Thank you, Roy.
Yes.
Was that the kick shit you put in the woman's drink?
That's
Ah,
right.
you talked about that.
Yeah.
She was on you, wasn't she?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got another one though.
That's all right, but you can put it again in November.
No,
Same woman.
fabulous.
Brilliant.
Right then, we got a few birthday shout outs. So there's quite a few actually. So let's get on it, does it?
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna start with Ellie and Lauren. Welcome to the Crow family, guys. Lauren wears her crow beanie, even in 22 degrees. They are coming to the Steelhouse Festival just to watch us. So that's just a shout out to Ellie and Lauren. Newly converted Crow fans.
That's the way.
Ali Bear got in touch. Hey, Crows, it's my beloved wife Sarah's birthday tomorrow, and I know she would love a shout out on CrowCast. Not only is she my wife, but my best friend, and when the kids are trying to drive us nuts, it's rock that holds my sanity together. Thanks in advance, Ali. Happy birthday, Sarah!
Happy birthday.
Have a great day. Carla Marshall. Hi, guys. Could you please give a birthday shout out to my husband, Graham Marshall, who has his second lockdown birthday on the 8th of April. Thanks to you all for the Tuesday evenings sanity savers. Thank you. Happy birthday, Graham.
Happy
birthday, Graham.
Yvonne Collins. Hey, Crows. For the last year, my partner, John Wilkinson, has had to watch the CrowCast on a Saturday morning because during the week, he has to get up at dawn to go to work. But not anymore. He turned 60 today, and we will be enjoying CrowCast live along with the rest of us. Cheers, Yvonne. Good news, John. No work tomorrow. Yeah. Well done, John. Crazy Crow lady Debbie Turner. Can I get a happy 30th birthday shout out to my son, Matt? I've been lucky enough to visit this weekend and took your beer up for him. Excellent work, Debbie.
Yep.
Well done.
Happy birthday, Matt.
Happy
birthday. I hope you had a
Hope
good
you
hangover.
enjoyed the beer. Yeah.
Kieran Evans, please could you give a birthday shout out to my beautiful wife from fellow Crow, Tracy Evans. It was the 2nd of April. She's 1 in a million and has been working hard all through these hard times with the NHS. Can't wait for things to get back to normal so I can take her to see you guys live. Cheers. Happy birthday, Tracy!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to the wonderful Alison Llewellyn. Hope you have a great day, lovely. It's today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Alison. Catch you soon.
You what?
I hope John's looking after you.
Oh, right.
How do you-
Yeah.
I hope he's spoiling
And
you.
Bruno.
Harriet Breeze, hi Shane. I hope you're doing okay. Well, I would like to announce the birth of our beautiful granddaughter, Maeva, born last night, a mini crow and new to the group. Her mum, Jamie, was awesome, and Nanny Harriet and Papa Rob are over the moon and so in love with her already. Happy new baby crow, Jamie.
Happy
Congrats.
birthday.
That's incredible. Congratulations, all of you. That's amazing. Jess Anderson, could you please give Casey a shout out tonight, please? She's broken her arm and had to have an operation on it. Just to get well soon would cheer her up. She loves listening to you all, and it'll make her day. Thank you in advance. Get well soon, Casey.
Get well soon.
Get well soon.
And that's it.
All the best.
That's all the shout outs.
Nice.
What's the next lyric? It's lyric time. What's the next line? What's the next line? What's the next line?
Ooh, this is a tough one. It's a tough one this week. Really tough one. So tough that I might have to give you the song title.
Oof.
We'll see how it goes. The lyric is waste no time. Waste no time. What's the next line? Go.
Should we see what they can win?
Oh, what can you win?
Oh,
It's the brand new merch available right now at thosedamncrows.com. So basically, if a fella answers correctly, he can have the Porky Pig, eh? The universal T-shirt, and if a lady answers, you can have a woman-fitted T-shirt.
ooh.
I'm gonna see how it goes first before I give them the song title. If they can get it, you never know.
Okay, very
Oh,
cool.
they're coming through. They're coming through.
Waste no time.
Probably a great time as well after our guest tonight to go into this.
The best music all day long. Crow Radio. Available now via Those Damn Crows Spotify page. Don't forget to click the green heart.
So this week, this is the first, right? We have chosen an album as our playlist. And this album is Silver Spoons and Broken Bones by Stone Gods.
Yes.
We're putting it out there for our crows to listen to because we love this album. So it is now available as a playlist on our Spotify page. You can download it, you can listen to it, you can share it. It's an amazing album. We all love it. We've all taken inspiration from it. I listen to it regularly and I think I really love that song. I want to write a song like that. So just listen to it and appreciate it and share it.
Yeah.
Would you like me to tell you this? Would you like me to tell you through talk you through the tracks or just?
Yeah, go on, David. Go on. What is on our Crow Radio? Give us the full track listing.
I'll give you the rundown. Okay, so
Go on in.
track 1, Burn the Witch. Yes. Track 2, Don't Drink the Water. Fucking tune.
Tune.
Track 3, Defend or Die. Tune.
Oh,
Track 4, You Brought a Knife to a Gunfight. I love that song. Track 5, Magdalene Street. Track 6, Where You Coming From. Track 7, Lazy Bones. Track 8, I'm With the Band. Track 9, Start of Something, which you'll all agree is an absolutely beautiful song.
oh, it's amazing.
Track, I kind of lost my train of thought what track we're on. Making It Hard, that's what she said. Wasted Time. Night of the Living Dead. And the song that Richie spoke about, Oh My Bureau.
Yeah, but that song is brilliant. And I wanted to pick up that point. He said about all the lyrics is not as good and all that. Dude, if you look at the Queen songs, Radio Gaga, Bicycle, Wanna Ride My Bicycle, you know, not lyrically the best song in the world, but what a tune.
Yeah.
But that's the cool thing, see, do you know what I mean? You might say the same about something down the line or whatever. Oh, I'm not quite happy with that. But what we hear is completely different. So we're like genuinely, that's why, you know, we wanted the whole album to feature. For anybody who doesn't listen every week or they don't watch us every week, or you might be listening to this down the line. We do normally on Crow Radio feature multiple artists, but we really wanted to feature just this record. Because it's a record that influenced all of us on this screen. So, and you know, if you've heard it before, give it to somebody else as well who haven't heard it. Pass it on, share the songs. You know, let's spread the love for Stone Gods, like, you know. So
it needs to be heard. It needs to be heard.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that's this week's Crow Radio. Tunes, Dave. Tunes. Before we get an answer in the competition, let's have a quick update on the world tour that's going on in the Strava page. Crow Fitness with Annie Schwarzenegger. Let's get the right week up this week. This is live. So stats for tonight. Week 5, we added 2,014 miles to our total. Wow. We are now over a third of the way of our target. if you remember our miles last week took us to Oslo. Well, this week, our miles take us from Oslo to Iceland on a very long ferry trip. Maybe we should call it a cruise. Anyway, we didn't quite do enough miles to make it to Reykjavik. I'm sure she's only putting these words to catch me up or catch me out online. So we asked for it, didn't it?
Trips up on the simplest word.
Reykjavik, is it? Reykjavik?
Reykjavik, is it?
Reykjavik. I did practice that earlier and it's still failed. So we have stopped at a well-known place called, she's having a laugh here, Strotsa. I'm going to write it in the fan page so everybody knows what it is. And she's actually put, no, I don't know how to say that either. Good luck with that. Yeah, I failed. I tried to rehearse that one. It's spelled SKUTUSTAOAHREPPUR. Strutsarithe or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'll leave you with that one.
Bet it's a beautiful place.
Sounds great.
If we really push this week, the aim is going to be able to make it to Canada next week's CrowCast.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the plan. If we can all step it up, do a little bit of cycling, do some running, do some Fitbit action. We'll get to Canada next week on the world tour, thanks to all the beautiful people on the Strava app and the Crow Fitness page, which is available on Facebook.
Well done.
Fantastic.
I'm glad someone's touring. I'm glad. Yeah.
It actually doesn't matter how many times you rehearse that. I still ballsed it up.
Yeah.
And I was there earlier going, Stratafada. I even tapped it into translation. But we're like,
listen to it. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's bound to go wrong, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Are we still looking for a winner by there, Shane?
We have got one, but before we do this, right? I'm really confused here. So the lyric was
I meant as well.
Waste no time. And so many people have put and breathe on me. Have I done a lyric called and breathe on me? Where's everyone got that from? And breathe on me. I'm interested. I want to know where that's come from. Anyway, this was off a song called Hey Man, Look at Me Now. And the correct line was waste no time, put it all on the line. And the winner is Sue Lucas.
Hey, well done, Sue.
Sue.
She was the first to say it. So yeah, Sue, I'm assuming you're a lady. Of course you are.
Say hello to
So
George.
tell us what size woman's vest or woman's t-shirt you want. There it is, look, in all its glory. And we'll get that out to you.
Or you may want a men's top if you do.
Absolutely. If you want the other one, you can.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
You can have what you fucking like. It's yours.
But where's that come from? And breathe on me.
Set in stone.
Is it?
Yeah, someone's just popped by here.
Hang on now. So are you saying the waste no time? That lyric is in set in stone as well?
They're not listening to my backing vocals, are they, Shane?
No, the breathe on me part they're saying.
Right.
We've made up a completely different song from the back.
Breathe on me.
Hey, this
But I'll
place.
be honest, but I don't remember you singing that.
I'm gonna go around quickly. Shane, see this. See that. How do you fucking see that?
That is quite simple. That is very simple.
Go on.
Oh, he's gone.
I'll go put it back up. I'll give it a fucking shot now. You fucking.
Go on then, Dave.
Scatter star.
Don't get it. You ready, Shane? You ready for it?
Yeah, that actually translators is all Russian to me.
Excellent. Go on, Lloyd.
Excellent.
There we go. It's not just me.
Pass.
It's kind of like when you trip up a curb and you style it out and you think, yeah, I got this, and then you just go, oh fucking hell, you fall over. That's what it's like trying to spell that word.
That was like the top step loading into the cat house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our top step, our very last step.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck story is about
made it all the way, and then it's like, yeah,
about 2 inches bigger, higher than all the other steps.
Yeah.
It is. And it fucking hurts.
If the Crow tour gets the can, I can't wait to hear Ron say Saskatchewan.
No, but we gotta go to Dildo.
We got to go.
I'm already there. What do you think I'm sitting on?
Yes, for anybody who didn't watch last week's episode, we did find out about funny places around the place. So what has Dave got lined up this week? Oh, there's Rimswell. Can't forget Rimswell. What have you got lined up, Dave?
Science this week, people. Science. Chemistry. Physics.
It's like Richie from Bottom.
Science. So, get yourself a glass. Pour yourself a nice, fresh glass of champagne, like I do every morning before I crack open my caviar. Get a raisin, not a currant, not a sultana, because they taste fucking horrible. Get a raisin, drop it in, and it will bounce from the bottom to the top, from the bottom to the top, from the bottom to the top, like a perpetual motion machine, constantly.
What the fuck? What? Oh, wow.
And then, if you eat the raisin, it gets you pissed.
Is that what you've been doing?
Yeah, I've been eating raisins.
Bit on the raisins, Dave.
So there's definitely something to try. And also, would you like to buy a bottle of Moët from me? I've got loads here. Discount. You want to buy? You want to buy? You like?
Oh, wow.
Fuck it. Do you want another one? Talking about booze. Fuck it.
Come on, Em.
Full screen, Chief.
And, myself included, at any one time, 0.7% of the world's population is pissed. And I am no fucking exception to that.
I put in more than that, Dave.
Wow.
Can you imagine that festival?
Oh,
It is. Wait for
It
it.
is.
It.
eye on you.
Go it. What's him? Wait.
Where's he off?
Oh, hang on. What's down there? Down there.
Hold on the fence, but I'll help you.
That's where I want to go. I want to go
Go
down
on.
there.
You nearly got it. Go on.
Hey.
Yeah. No.
Hey!
Ta-da, man. All the best.
I love that when you try to like walk uphill when there's no hill. You like that? Brilliant.
Outstanding facts, Dave. Absolutely brilliant, but
You're welcome.
Mystery box, mystery box. What's inside the mystery box? Mystery box, mystery box. What's inside the mystery box?
Amazing.
Dave, man.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
So this week we all had one of these each. Did we not?
Did we?
Yeah,
We did.
Of course we fucking did. Yay!
Go on in, Ron. Open it up, son.
CrowCast, PO Box 406, Bridgend, Charlie Foxtrot 31, 9 Romeo Delta. Oh, what have we got?
What haven't we got more like?
Oh, what? Oh, that's brilliant.
What is it?
Well, they chopsticks.
No, it's
Mini drumsticks.
Pencils, right?
pencil
drumsticks.
drumsticks.
Clever.
Ew. That's
Thank
epic.
you. I have got thank you for supporting small business. Ooh, chocolate mice. Chocolate fucking mice. Wee!
Hey.
Dude, that's a blast from the past. That's a blast from the past. Oop, hang on. Ah, that's cool. I got a notebook. Shift Daddy. Fucking. There it is. Look at that. It's a planner. I could do with one of them. Exactly what I need in my life. Beef casserole. Get some brisket in there, boy.
Nice.
Oh. I got a lovely little envelope with a with a photo on it. Hang on. Chicken casserole. Whoa. Oh, more sweets. Look at them. Oh, that's proper classic.
Look at them. Yeah.
Proper classic sweets they are.
It's like in a bag that you get space food in.
Right, let me open my card. And the card says Merry Christmas.
That's how long this has been taking to try and get to us, bud.
Fair play. Merry Christmas, Ronnie. Have lots of fun on this Christmas. Love, Emma and Donna. That's amazing. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys. That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Someone's jingling in mine.
I've opened mine. I started. You look.
Oh,
Complete the lyrics. I got my own lyric game.
yay!
Singer because freaking awesome is not an official job title. Another pad to write the lyrics. Awesome. What's this? Of course.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Dave, is that you with that fucking bell?
Can someone explain that to me? What? Pepper sauce.
Yeah. You like pepper sauce?
Did I say on CrowCast?
Yeah, you mentioned it numerous times.
Did I?
Shane. Yeah, pepper sauce, man.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
It is Dave with that bell.
Yeah, you bellend.
Yeah, that's just my end belly. That is.
Look. That as well.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's
How you
lovely.
about playing the piano?
That's
And there's
amazing.
a note here, Shane. Since I'm dishing them out, I thought it's a good idea that you have one too. I truly thank you for the inspiration and motivation to pick up my brushes and paint again. Big love, Emma.
Beautiful.
Emma, thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Absolutely love that. I got a card here, mystery box. Are you ready? There's the culprits.
Emma and her daughter, is it?
Emma and Donna, eagerly awaiting our first Crows gig together. Thank you for the awesome weeks of CrowCast. You guys are amazing. Message from my big bro, Mike Ashcroft. I have to go to a Crows gig with this mad pair when things get back to normal. God help me. Cheers, Crows, Mad Mike. Honestly, CrowCast has been our savior. Keep up the good work, Donna. Emma, Donna, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Absolutely wonderful.
Mm.
Devo.
Bloody marvellous. So, I've got given a little bell.
Yeah, which we've all heard.
No shit.
I thought you might have thought it was my cat or something running around. So the bell says, "Ring for wine," and you don't have to ask me twice because I've been given a bottle of wine. So, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Fucking hell.
And also, I've been given a book. Easily distracted by dogs and guitar. Now that is so accurate to my life. Because it's the same guitar. And I suppose it probably could be indie, I suppose, the same sort of shape.
Oh,
the problem is
it will be.
The problem is, Emma, is that it's a diary. I'm supposed to plan my life. Now, I might have to give that to Lisa because she takes care of everything in my life. I basically wake up, she brushes my teeth, combs my hair, puts shoes on me, makes sure I'm wearing trousers, and kicks me out the house, and I go off and do my thing. So I'll give that to her. So yeah, that's great. So I'll just have the wine. Thanks. Thank you.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Shiner.
Shiner.
Yo, I'm up, right? Oh, full fucking screen. Well, we all know what's in mine.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
The good thing is I'm running out of them as well. So that's good. Oh, hang on. What have we got by you? Prime Minister. Oh, history of my office. Oh, yeah. That'd come in handy. So, yeah. That's good. Oh, hello. Sweets.
Yes.
Yes.
It was a winner.
Old school
Yes.
sweet.
Yeah, I like the bag.
Sweeties.
Fucking jelly babies in there as well. Oof.
Oh,
I
I'm
love
not
the
sure what this is. Bear with me while I open it.
That's what she said.
Ah, it's fucking settled, kid. Right. So, thank you for that.
That's never going to see the light of day.
Didn't even read the packaging.
Oh yeah. Comedy genius there coming up, boys. 75 assorted kids plasters.
Yes.
I could have done with them in Germany.
Yeah, I was going to say. They come in handy with us on tour, wouldn't they?
Yes. And then, I'm a freaking awesome minister, and I survived 2 bog rolls or something.
2020.
20.
All right, okay. That is toilet roll, isn't it?
So literal.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
literal.
yeah.
It is, yeah.
Bog rolls or something.
Most literal reading ever.
Yeah. And look at that, Dave. I am going to plan it, but I just got a proper book to write guitar stuff in.
Brilliant.
Yay, look at that.
I feel
And then the
pressured
old
to
tab.
plan my life now.
2 bog rolls.
Yeah. And then last,
Per
last
wipe,
but not
like.
least,
Per wipe.
Merry Christmas, Shiner. Lots of love, Emma and Donna. Thank you very much, girls.
Yay.
Oh, there's a little card in mine. I didn't open.
Come on in, Lloyd. What have we got, bud?
You wait your turn, Dave.
No. You crack on.
Let's have a look. Well, that's right, isn't it? That's class. That's
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
Shut up, David. It's my moment. It's my moment.
Full screen, Chief.
Watch it. Ooh, I forgot the What's this? What is it? Headbands music. I don't even know what this is. Let's have a look.
Oh, yes.
What are they like?
Go run
armbands?
in, man. When you go run in.
Of course they are.
Reflective, yeah.
He's going to put it around his head then.
Hang on.
Yeah, they snap.
Yes.
They snap around your arm, don't they?
Aye.
It's like a snap. Yeah,
Snap
snap.
it around you a bloody arm in a minute, bite.
Reflectors for running, man.
So hey.
Mm.
Oh, look at that. I have to hide that from the kids. Mickey
What's it
Mouse. A ruler set and a pen.
Oh,
Sharpener.
look at that. Keep it on your desk, boy.
Oh, that's it.
What is it?
Well, if you were so pissed, you'd be able to see, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, yeah. I can see you holding 3 items, but
Ooh. Some sweeties, is it? Oh, okay. Tidy.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, bag of sweets.
Bag of sweets.
And we got a card here.
I didn't have any sweets. I just had pepper sauce.
Someone's been no Jenny Richards in Bridgend, like.
Merry Christmas, Lloyd. Have lots of fun this Christmas. Love, Emma and Donna. Well, I shouldn't have really opened that until this Christmas, really, should I?
Yeah.
Thank you very
Can't
much,
think about
girls.
it.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
But it's
Really
mad.
kind.
The girls have tried to send us this in CrowCast 37. That's when they tried to send this to us.
Oh,
And apparently it was sent back to them in the right state. So we finally got the mystery box. Thank you so much, girls.
thank
you.
you so
Thanks.
much. Thank you
No.
so much.
Yeah.
Cheers.
And yeah, for anybody who wants to send in anything, whether it be letters or anything for us to open, etc. If you send it to CrowCast, it is Mystery Box, Those Damn Crows, PO Box 406, Bridgend, Charlie Foxtrot 319 Romeo Delta. I always like doing that. Feels like I'm in line of
Surely
duty.
should be 9 Ronnie Dave.
Should be. There we are. We should rewrite this, shouldn't we?
We also
Yeah.
accept wine deliveries.
Charlie Frankie 31 9 Ronnie Dave.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right, great point to say. Obviously, what's that? Sorry, if you want to send it, it has to be under 2 kilograms. Oh, oh, that's interesting info.
Couldn't send an exact replica of my penis then, unfortunately.
The wine's kicking in.
It's the end of the show.
Oh my God. Yeah, probably a great time to say, hey guys, if you're on the socials, tonight we were streaming live on Facebook. They didn't cut us off. Well, they might have now.
Sorry.
You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram as well. Give us a tweet, and of course, for anybody who's new, we are on Twitch as well. We're slowly building that. There's more followers week by week, so it's a new platform. And yet again, if you like all your eggs in one basket, go and visit www.thosedamncrows.com. That is www.thosedamncrows.com, and you can see everything we're up to music-wise, any rescheduled shows, any new shows that's been announced, like we said earlier, Monster Fest, which is in November. You can find all of that on the website, including our beer and what's happening and where you can buy it. Crow Fitness as well. You know, we have the weekly updates on you, but there's always something going on the Crow Fitness page. And also, you know, any new merch, like tonight, there was new merch dropped. You can get a direct link to the shop where you can obviously get the new merch that was dropped today, whether it be sunglasses, tea towels, or even this fantastic limited edition print of Mr. Shane Greenhall. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. What have we got for a Shane?
Ladies and gentlemen, one-liner, shiner, 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 shiner.
I got two for you. I seen Craig McGill's comment go up the side. So the first one is, please don't be like Dave.
Shiner, that's fucking remarkable advice. That's fucking right. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Right. And the proper one. It's always the small pieces that make the big difference.
Yes.
But my first one was better.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it held more pathos as well.
It's always the small penis that makes a difference. Yeah, good one, Eddie Shane.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you could send that.
Oh dear.
Absolutely amazing show again tonight. Crow family, thank you so much again for joining us. Richie Edwards, thank you so much, brother, for joining us. Check out Stone God's amazing album. Crow family, we will see you next week on CrowCast episode 55. Stay safe.
I'm not giving up. I'm not